It's Brett, and thank you for stopping by or returning to my channel. Um, I'm a little late and I'm a little overdue in posting anything for January, primarily, not primarily, only because of the fires that have been going on here in Los Angeles. This is the first day that I have been in front of my computer at home. We are very fortunate in that our house in LA is fine. Where we are located was removed from where the bulk of the damage was in either Altadena or the west side of Los Angeles. But it's such a kind of indescribable situation, and watching seeing the sky turn black and all of it's so surreal and felt a lot like living in a disaster movie. And my heart goes out to all my fellow Angelinos who are now without homes, who are going to have to try to rebuild. It's going to be a long road for this city, and it's tough. So that's why I haven't been here. And then in the interim, I also managed to get sick. Woo! So that's why I sound like I do today. So whatever. But I did want to come on because January is almost half over. So this is going to be a weird kind of mash up video of like January TBR of like what I've read so far, what I'm currently reading, and what I hope to still accomplish within the month. Now, the books that I'm going to talk about first, the ones that I've already read, I'm not going to go into details about them until the end of the month. I'm really just going to show what they are and give a little blurb about them. And, but I will talk about more of them in depth at the end of the month. Um, so yeah, let's get started. All right, first up is that I've already read is Penitence by Kristen Koval. This is a debut novel that will be out January 28th, and thank you to Celadon for this. Again, not going to go into too much except to say it's really good. It's a very smart. It's not necessarily a thriller, but it has a definitely a mysterious component to it about a fratricide that exists when a sister, 12-year-old sister, shoots her brother who's 13, and the aftermath of that, the whys, how it affects the family, all of the secrets that exist. It's really good. So that's the first. All right. Next is A Gorgeous Excitement by Cynthia Weiner, and thank you to Crown Books for this. Again, really interesting. I'll talk about it at the end of the month, but this book in a nutshell, and it comes out on the 21st, January 21st, is its debut novel starts with a young girl being found strangled in Central Park. But it really follows this one young girl about to go to college the summer before she goes to Vanderbilt, and what happens. It is based on the author's real life experience of living in New York and running with a group that included the preppy murder, the preppy murderer, I should say, Robert Chambers. Uh, so it's based on him and based on her life in New York. It's not a memoir, it's completely fictionalized, but that's kind of the launch off point. Uh, really good as well, but I'll talk more about this at the end of the month. Next was The Boyhood of Kane by Michael Amherst. This comes out February 25th, and thank you to Riverhead for this copy. This is kind of a coming of age novel, very interesting point of view. Again, we'll talk about it more at the end of the month. And then the last thing, which I had started at the end of 2024 and didn't finish it in time, was There Are Rivers in the Sky by Alif Shafak. Really enjoyed this as well. And I know this was on some people's year-end lists, so that's the last. All right, so that goes for what I've already read. What I am currently reading are a few things. Universality by Natasha Brown. This is really interesting. I started it yesterday, and to be perfectly honest, I wish I had just read it in one fell swoop, and I didn't, and I'm not. But I will finish it today. About a young man who bludgeons somebody else with a gold bar. Uh, and a journalist who is kind of covering the story. Um, really enjoying. Don't want to say too much, and I don't know too much. I'm only like 50 pages in, and to be honest, I started it last night, and I had already taken a cup of NyQuil, so I had to go back and reread a little bit today. Okay, next, Wild Duck Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This comes out March 3rd here in the US. This is about a very remote island where there is a father and his three children, and they're part of he is part of a program that as um, it's a place where they're cultivating seeds that it's a almost like warehouses that have seeds in them that are every kind of floral and fauna that exists on this island that can be then used to, should something happen, they can be used to plant and regrow. And one day a woman washes up on the shore who's badly hurt, and they take her in, this widowed father and his three children, and what happens. So I don't know where it's going yet. It's really compelling. I'm getting complete the beginnings of a thriller mystery vibe. We'll see. I really, really, really liked Once There Were Wolves that she also wrote. I'm liking this even more. So be on the lookout for this. I think you're going to see this a lot of places, but I really, it's good. So we'll see. All right, now this is what I still hope to potentially get through. The first book in my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. I want to read Poor Dear by Clara Shevsky. This is a slip of a novel, a murderous. It's a murderous novel. It's a wondrous, tender novel about a young girl grappling with her role in a tragic loss and attempting to reshape the narrative of her life. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I thought I would start my 12 books recommended by 12 friends with something slim just to get it going. But I'm excited about that and keeping up with the backlist. Then I'm really interested in Sarah Sliger's Vantage Point, which came out this past week. It's a thriller. Kind of what I've heard is it's somewhere between Succession and the Fall of the House of Usher, if you merge those two. So that's very intriguing to me. So I'd like to get to this one. Another book that I've seen some places, and I really am interested in this. I started the audio of it, and the author reads it, but for whatever reason, I couldn't hook in right away, and so I put it down. But I'm so intrigued by it. I really want to read it. So I got a copy of it yesterday, which is Playworld by Adam Ross. This is set in the 80s about a young child star who's like 14 years old, a young like TV star who starts an affair with an older married woman. But that's only part of the story. It kind of follows him with all of these characters in his life. It's supposed to be a little bit epic. It sounds almost like the description of something that John Irving would have written. And so I just also love this cover. I don't know. The whole thing is very intriguing to me. So that's another one I really want to get to. Then Fagan the Thief by Allison Epstein. This comes out February 25th. And again, thank you to Doubleday for the copy of this. This is a taking the character of Fagan the Thief from Dickens' Great Expectations, and it's their story. Kind of like Elphaba with Wicked. So I love a retelling. I think this sounds really good. It's getting a lot of pre-publication buzz. So, and I like a historical novel. All of these things are totally working for me. So I'm really excited about this one. And then the last thing that just got sent to me, which I don't think this is ever a book that I would have personally necessarily picked up. Okay, I'm going to read you the first line from the like in the galley, the letter to the reader that comes from the VP editorial director of Dutton. It said, "You're holding a very special novel in your hands. The first time I read it, I couldn't stop crying, but I also couldn't put it down. It felt like staring into the sun, like piecing together the puzzle of life, but from the safety of a Word doc. All right, so you're like, what is a novel? Yeah, I'm talking about the novelist. All right, the novel is This is a Love Story by Jessica Sofer about two lovers and their relationship over 15 years, and she is diagnosed with cancer. So it's giving me, every kind of weepy terms of endearment vibes, as well as the new Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh movie that just came out. I'm getting all of that from this. I love a book that is capable of fleshing out my tear ducts, and this could be the one. So I have no idea. I steer very clear of like the romance things, and yet something like One Day or certain Jojo Moyes books are kind of that, but also kind of weepy, and those have worked for me. So I don't know. I'm gonna try this, and I'll let you know. But I also love this cover. I like the blue. I like the hint of the city coming through the lettering. So yeah, Jessica Sofer, we're gonna try it out. So that's what my January is hope to look like. Let me know if you've read any of these or if any of these are interesting to you. Um, I have a full two more authors lined up for this month that I've interviewed for Behind the Stack, both of whom the books are really good and very interesting, and I had great conversations. So look out for the next one on Tuesday. Um, and that's it. Also, okay, let's just talk for one moment about, if you've made it this far, about the TikTok ban. Do people think it's going to happen? What do we think beyond that? Do we think there's going to be an influx of book talkers who are going to show up on BookTube? How do we feel about that? Personally, I don't care because I'm not on Book Talk, and I think a lot of the Book Talk readers, it's so specific anyway. So if they come over, that's great. The more the merrier. But I'm also like, you know, uh, every time I go into a bookstore and they have a book talk section, so much of it seems to be generated towards a lot of romance, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of para romance, and that's not necessarily my vibe. So it doesn't really matter to me. But I know, like, my daughter's freaking out. Anyway, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you're all having a good week, and I will see you all soon.